Welcome. I am Cindy, and I am so excited to be here with Christine today to talk to her journey to land an amazing new job. Hi, Christine. How are you?
Good morning, Cindy. I'm delighted to see you again, and that new job is thanks to your support and coaching. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So, what are you doing right now?
I accepted a role with Penn Foster, and I'm the director of high school partnerships.
Wow. So, what does that mean?
It's a part of the organization that they would really like to grow. They partner with schools and districts across the country to provide either individual courses for credit recovery or a full high school diploma program for students where maybe the regular traditional schooling isn't working. And so they'd like me to operationalize a little bit and then help grow. It's been a month, a little more, and it's been absolutely outstanding already.
So, you get to make a real impact on education, especially for students that would be falling through those cracks.
Which I really feel privileged to get to do, yes.
So, what is your history? What's your background?
I've been in education for a number of years. I think I cut the decades down when I was talking to you, so it seemed too ancient. I started out as an art teacher originally, and then I ran Title I programs for a number of years, partnering with school districts. And I was at Pearson almost 9 years working in both blended schools and working with statewide virtual online schools. And this has just been a tremendous fit considering my background.
That's fantastic. All those names, Pearson, all those names that are transitioning teachers know really, really well. How is your life better? What's amazing about your job?
I definitely feel lighter. My friends have said I saw college friends this week and they said, oh gosh, you feel so much, you can tell you're enjoying the work. And obviously it had been a struggle finding it and a long journey. And so I get to focus on other things. I get to focus on work, but also other things, which is delightful. Um, and you and I talked about this at the end. Don't forget to plan your personal journey and what do you
We
want
did
for
talk
the
about
next.
that.
So I really that's one of the things I liked about your approach too. It was certainly it's job centered, but you approach it from a very holistic standpoint. And I think particularly as women, we do a million things at the same time, and that's important for us to take a step back and say, what do I want now? And so I do a little bit of art on the side, so I'm taking more time to do that. I just interviewed to be on my local arts council. So I mean, I have headspace and time to do some of those things
I
now.
love that. I love that this new job allows you to enrich all parts of your life.
I do as well.
Okay. And I don't feel that one's career has to be 100% of themselves, like that you should find excitement and enjoyment in all parts of your life.
Agree, agree. And it's important, as you know, to take time to do those. It's easy to put that on the bottom of the to-do list. So I've been trying
For
to
sure.
put it on the top.
For sure. So you just mentioned that the journey was a tough one. What was the job search journey like for you?
I was very unexpectedly laid off after 10 months at a role that I was hired to start a team, a customer success team. And so it was an absolute shock, number one. Obviously, like everyone else, there's financial implications. And
Yeah.
I previously in my career had been very fortunate and had been able to network relatively quickly when I was looking for a job. I wasn't in the laid off um, position, but this really upended my confidence because I think the market post COVID had really retracted. It was not an easy time when you're looking at and I'm not trying to sound like anything, but when you're looking at a certain level, there's fewer jobs.
Yep. Yes.
And I just was feeling entirely unsuccessful and a little despondent. I had had a lot of success in my career previously. And so I just felt like, what am I doing wrong? What's going on here? And then I felt as though I really needed a change and to do something differently. And I got in touch with you.
So once we started working together, what happened?
I feel as though my resume, after you reviewed it, I think the very first session you look at a resume, a cover letter, LinkedIn. Um, I feel as though the resume, which I had done through an online service, I should say professionally, before I saw you, and you elevated it in a way I never felt better about.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's hard when you just pay a resume writer because they don't know you and they're not asking the questions and you're probably not meeting with them. You're still not meeting with them every week and they don't know which jobs you're applying to. And that's why it's challenging to just hire a resume writer.
And even the industry, there's very in our education industry, there's very specific terminology and
Correct.
nomenclature. So yeah, I agree with you.
Correct,
Uh,
correct. So I know that you have prepared kind of a list, right? Because you're super organized, as many of our teachers are, and you have a list of topics that you want us to be talking about today. So what else what have we not hit yet?
The one-on-one coaching each week was really helpful because while it was coaching, it was also a working session. So you and I were looking for my job together. And then I had very clear directives for what I needed to achieve that week. And so I think when you're looking and it's a very lonely proposition.
It is a lonely job.
You're in your
Yeah.
office or you're in your space, you feel cruddy. And so having a set purpose was incredibly valuable. Um, and so I knew exactly I needed to apply to this many, I needed to prep for this interview that week. And
We
it
did a lot of interview practice. You had
we
many
did
levels of interviews for this job. How many levels of interviews was this?
four. And I had consulted with the company for a couple months. So that was also a trial run. But yes, I met with my now supervisor. I met with the VP of product. I met with the VP of admissions. The CEO was the final interview. I had a number of them.
And each step of the way we pulled back, we practiced, we rehearsed differently. Who are we meeting with now? What are they going to be interested in? We researched the people so that we were able to help you to be confident at each
Yes.
level of that interview.
And that's absolutely something that had been, I touched on this earlier, that had been eroding on me. And I found the interview prep incredibly valuable because you taught me that you have these anecdotes because and not to use hypotheticals. I would do X, Y, and Z
Right.
given this opportunity. But what have you done in your career that shows you did that? And you talked about the arc of it as well. What was the problem? What did you do to resolve it? And how did it end? Because a couple of times I told half a story to you and you said, yeah, 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 but did it work out this
and and what
time?
are the results? Like tie it up with a bow at the end, right?
And you
Like
you also taught me that we all have, our cadre of anecdotes, and if you can really refine those and speak super succinctly about those, you're really able to use those for most of their questions. And it's not that you're not
correct,
answering them, but you're able to have those at the ready, feel like you
correct.
have them in your arsenal, and that helped me immensely. I feel like you sharpened my skills very
Thank
much.
you. I'm so glad you share that. I love that concept of you have a collection of stories, and almost no matter what they ask you, a similar story, the same story can answer multiple different questions if you phrase it properly.
And you taught me that, and I wrote them out, and that helped me refine them. And I think during our one-on-one sessions, that was incredibly helpful. We role played, and that was
And a
very,
lot
very
of
helpful.
corrections of words, individual words, and stop saying we. It was it we or was it I? It was I. So let's say
You were
I. And
great, and I caught myself while I was interviewing several times because your words were in my head. Yes, I'm so
and
team
not I
oriented.
only did this, I did this, or I just like getting rid of those passive words that minimize what you do.
Yes, you taught me that as well, for sure. And when you go into an interview with that collection, I like that word you used, you already feel more confident as you start knowing obviously you prepare, you've looked at the job description, but that's sort of the second set of tools you have with you. you were able to also help me with my mindset because I remember distinctly telling my husband, as you joked, all the husbands know you. But I got on one of our one-on-one sessions and I said, well, I have 3 interviews and a phone screen. And you
Remember
went,
this.
what? And I was thinking, I don't have anything concrete to tell you, Cindy. And you said you should be doing a cartwheel down the street. And so that was really helpful for me to reframe my
I
thinking.
remember, I remember that session. Like, what, you just have 3 interviews this week? That's all? You should be so excited.
That was really helpful too. And because my journey had been months, I couldn't see the light. And so you pointed out, hey, you have a lot of light here, lady. So bask in it a little bit. That was very, very helpful. Uh, Once I accepted my offer, not only were you one of my first texts, but you helped me prepare for the job because I use the word we because, as you know, leading a team is one of the things I love most in life. I get a lot of gratification from it. And so I don't know that managing up is always my forte. So you really helped me prepare for starting my job. How do you, from the very beginning, start to uh, capture the work you're doing so that very quickly you can show what you've accomplished? So while in theory, the hope is to get to the job, but having a couple weeks with you prior to starting was also invaluable.
Thank you. That's another thing I love doing with my clients, right? Is because it's not stopping now. You got a job. Bye, Christine. It's over. It's you got a job. Great. We want you to be successful at that job. Okay. And to be able to grow and achieve those new levels and have that success in this new level, this new position for sure.
It was just a tremendous process. And we talked about the loneliness a couple times. You really having a partner in crime, I hope you don't, I hope you know
That's
that.
cool. That's
It's,
cool.
it was, for me, it was absolutely transformational. I, I needed, I needed your help. I needed a partner, and I'm 100% sure that I wouldn't be in the same place without you.
Well, thank you so incredibly much. I'm so proud of you. I loved every moment of us working together.
I
Do you have
really
any
did too.
final, me too, it was so much fun. Right, we work hard, but we had a great time doing it. Do you have any final advice for anybody who is in that position that you were in before, where they just feel like it's hopeless and endless, and any advice for them?
I would say I didn't seek you out quickly enough. I waited till I was too low. And so I would do this, I would work with you more quickly. I would also say, get out and take walks, take care of yourself, see your friends,
Yes.
all those things that are really critical for your mental health. But I would say more quickly. I think sometimes we wait until we're at a point where we are despondent. And I think I would have, if I could wave my magic wand, I would have I would have called you the next day after being laid off. I think it would have changed the trajectory of my journey.
Well, I wish that we had met sooner, but I'm so glad we met when we did,
I
because look
am
at where you
too.
are now.
And I feel like, what I didn't mention, the resources that you have that I always have access to, the videos were a terrific way to get started. And I definitely feel like we have a relationship now, and I feel very fortunate for that.
Well, thank you so much. I feel the same way. And by the way, the resources and videos you're talking about, those are the ones for my clients, right? So that's not, I mean, we have a ton of free content and a ton of YouTube videos, but we have extra special stuff exclusive for my clients.
Correct, correct, correct. Yeah.
So thank you so very much. It has been an honor and a joy to work with you throughout this. I'm so excited for
I
you.
feel the same way, Cindy. You're an absolute delight. You're smart. You're you're compassionate, and you pushed me simultaneously. It was a winning combination. Thank you.
Said hand holding, but kicking you on the butt. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
thank you.